I'm going to make a short video today of how I pattern up teak covering boards for a fiberglass boat I'm working on. These are the patterns right here. They're probably about 10-11 inches wide, and if you could picture it, the aft is that way, and these will sit on top of the gunnel. Here's the back. Let's see, this would be the starboard aft corner, and this is the gunnel or the covering board coming around to the port aft corner, and then it moves forward here. These are 1/4 inch luan patterns that I made, and I don't know if you can see, I've got some pictures here of the boat. There's one shot there. That's looking aft, and that would be the port gunnel. Here's another close-up of the corner, that corner there. So this is a fiberglass boat with kind of wide gunnels, and they're just painted right now. It's fiberglass, and there's like a non-skid surface on it. And you can see on this close-up here that from about here over is a big radius. It's like a 3/4 inch radius or a 1 inch radius. And then where this blue tape starts, that's where the non-skid started. So the customer wants some teak to go on top of this to accent it. So what I did was, that's what this video is about. I'm just showing you how I patterned up to put the teak on there. And what I did was, I cut this is 1/4 inch luan, and I went to the boat, I cut it about a 1/2 inch short of where I really wanted it to be, and then I laid it on there, and then I used tape again, as I always do, and I ran that tape right along the line, right along that right at the edge of the radius, where I want the edge of the wood to be, the edge of the teak, because you don't want to really hang that out over where the radius starts. So it's right on the edge there. And when I looked down that taped line where the non-skid was actually painted, the line was kind of crooked. It wasn't really that straight. So I had to figure out a good way to straighten that line out and make a pattern so I can come back to my shop and cut the teak. So I laid this luan pattern on top of it, and like I said, I cut it about a 1/2 inch short from each edge, and I laid it on there, and I put a couple of weights on it, and then I just took this 1 inch tape and I followed as close as I could the old tape line where the non-skid started, and when I could, I straightened that line out to make it a nice gradual arc. So that's what I did at the boat. I made these patterns up, and now I'm ready to cut them. Now I'm ready to lay them on top of the teak, and here's my teak planks. Really nice looking teak. I got this at Armstrong Millworks out in Highland, Michigan, and it was rough sawn. It was 4/4. So I planed it down to, right now it's down to a little over 3/4. I don't know how thin I'm going to make it. I'm going to leave it right like it is, take it to the boat and dry fit it and see how it looks, because this edge is going to get a big radius. So I got to figure out what the correct thickness, what a good thickness would be on the boat. So I've got my teak here, and I'm going to get ready to lay this pattern on here. And you can see the tape along the back. The tape extends out, and I got the arc as smooth as I could on the boat. And what I'm going to do now, I have to transfer this. I have to transfer this line. I already made some marks here. I'm going to line it up. So now I have to transfer this pattern to this piece of teak, and this is something that I don't know how I came up with it. I don't know if I saw it in a book or something like that, but since this tape sticks out a little bit over the pattern of the luan, I've got to figure out a way to transfer this pattern onto the teak. And you could do that, I guess, by by getting a pencil and making marks every few inches and then connecting those dots. But I found a kind of a fast, easy way to do it. And I'll stop the camera and start it back up. I'll have my buddy Jay hold the camera, and I'll show you how I transfer this pattern onto the teak. All right?
One, go.
Okay, I've got Jay holding the camera. I'm going to show you how I transfer this pattern onto the teak. As I already showed you, I've got the tape that extends out over this luan template. And I'm just going to take this paint, Krylon. I like to use that because it dries quick. And I'll just spray straight down on this. And it'll give me a nice crisp line. So I'll take this off. Now I got my line there. And then what I'll do, I'll use tape again. This is 1.5 inch tape. And then you can see the crisp line here. Now if that tape on that pattern was a little bit off, which it kind of was, it wasn't real smooth, I can adjust it with this wider tape. So I'll take this and I'll put it right on that line. And you see how I've got a couple of feet rolled out, and I just kind of adjust it back and forth, and that makes a nice smooth arc. And then I'll take and sight down it and make sure it's smooth. And if it's not, I'll just lift it up and redo it. That's it. So what'd that take? Like a minute or two. And I'm looking down and it looks good. So then I'll take it to my bandsaw. And I'll just cut down it. I just cut a little bit wide of the line because I'm gonna work it in with a hand plate and a sanding block. You can get right up close to that block, Jay. I just sharpened this blade, so it's pretty good. So just as long as I don't hit the tape, I'll get as close as I can to it. It doesn't matter if it pops out. I get it with a hand plate. Don't start digging until I get up here. I've almost touched the line. Okay, so that's close. Now I'm going to show you how I work that line down. Put my vise here. So what I do is I take this, it's a low angle block plane, very sharp, keep it sharp. And I'm going to go and look at all the high stuff. First sometimes I just run it all the way across and look at that. Set it a little deeper. So this is a gradual arc along there, and I cut anywhere from 0 to like a 1/16 of an inch proud. And now I'm showing you how I smooth that down. A lot of times I take this little machinist square just to make sure I'm on. So I'll take a few more passes and then I'll start looking for any particularly high spots. Right here is high, so I'll take a couple of swipes. Back here. A little bit high here. So I get right down here and look at that tape line. That's why I like using tape, because it's easier to see than pencil, especially the blue tape. And then I can work right down to the edge. It's high here. Pretty well, it's a little bit high here. So that's real close. Now I'll go through with my square. Pretty good. This edge is a little bit high. So back it off a little bit. Just hit that edge. Pretty good. Now I'll take this sanding block with 36 grit and start smoothing the arc. I'm still not right down the line, but to the tape line, but I'm almost there. So this being teak, it's real oily. So you can see how it sticks there. So every once in a while, take the air, and then it cleans right off. This is like a 3/4 inch hard block, sanding block. I think it's like maple or something. But it really does a nice job. If you've got any areas that are a little bit high, it knocks them down and evens things right up. And then I have 80 grit on the back. So I'll check it one more time for square. Looks good. Sometimes you get a little area where one edge might be higher than the other. You just knock the edge down. That looks real good. Now I'll check to see if I'm close to my tape. And I'm right on. Jay, check this out. Put the camera right down there and see how I'm right on that tape line. Run it all the way down here, you'll see. Everything's square. So there it is. That didn't take long. And then I'll put it back on the bench. And then I'll set my pattern up. And then I'll do the same thing to this bottom. I'll just line it back up with my marks. Now I wanted this, I've got notes on here that says add a 1/2 inch to make smooth, or 1/8 of an inch to make smooth. I wanted this a little bit wider than the tape. So what I'll do is I'll just back this off, maybe 1/8 of an inch, and then when I spray paint along here, I'll take my tape line and come off about 1/8 too, to add 1/8 total width to this template. So that's it. Just wanted to show you how I transfer these templates onto Teak. Okay?